Let's take a look at the Bob Hansler signature card. So if you're not familiar with Bob, you definitely need to check him out. He is a bushcraft and wilderness survival expert. He's a wilderness first responder. He's a wilderness first aid and primitive skills expert. If you're in a sticky situation outdoors, Bob is probably going to be a guy you want to have around. Like all of the Grimm Workshop cards, the Bob Hansler signature card is stainless steel. This fits in the credit card slot of your wallet, also fits in an Altoid size 10. This white backer peels off, and this is actually adhesive on this side, so you can stick this to something and have it with you at all times. The tools on this actually come out, and there is a tool retention system. So this is not magnetic, it is not adhesive, but when you're done using the tools, you can stick them back on the card, and they're there when you need them. So the card's loaded with tools, but the most dominant tool on this card is going to be the knife. So here's the knife that Bob included in his kit, and you can see this is a sawback knife. This also is a partially serrated blade. So when we look at this knife in a little more detail, you can see there's a little inletted area here, and that is for fishing line. So added line, this kit has spinners, this kit has hooks on it, so you can feed yourself in a while. This also is going to beef this handle up a little bit and make it a little bit easier to work with. Now you can also haft this to a stick. You can attach a lanyard to this. So there's a ton of different options just with this little handle configuration. Now overall size of the knife, this is about 1.5 finger grip, and that's if you hold it in a standard knife grip. Personally, I would kind of hold it like a stone flake, pinch up on it a little bit. I would possibly even support the back of the blade if I was doing any skinning. I have skinned with the Grimm knives before. This has a great skinning profile on the front. So those serrations are going to do a great job cutting cordage, especially wet cordage. Also, if you were trying to harvest some natural material like milkweed or dogbane that's kind of stringy, this is going to help you saw right through that. So if you look at the spine of this knife, this is actually a sawback knife, and this is one of 2 saws that are included in this kit. So a saw is going to help you make nice square notches. It's going to help for primitive traps. There's a lot of handy reasons to have a saw in the woods. So getting food off the landscape is always one of the hardest things to do. And we have 12 small panfish size hooks on this kit, as well as a larger hook here on the end. And then I have 3 small spinners and a medium sized spinner. Let me get these hooks out of here so you can get a little better look at them. So there's a good look at the large hook and one of the 12 smaller hooks. So having hooks is awesome, but putting them on a line is kind of important too. So all of the hooks have kind of a larger size eye that you can get improvised cord or paracord or non-standard fishing line through. So along the top edge here is a removable saw. And before I take that out and show you, there is a small little groove in here, and what this is for is actually for sharpening a fish hook. And it's kind of hard to do on camera, but it's a really, really fine grit. And that's going to help you sharpen up all these hooks and make them super effective. So I haven't really shown this yet, but I'm going to take this large spinner out now, and you can see when you take it out the first time, there's a small little metal tab that breaks free. And the bigger stuff is easier with my fingers, so I usually take the knife out first. But if you've got strong fingernails or you're more dexterous than I am, you can probably pull these off pretty easy. But these just pinch out, and then once you break it off the first time, at that point you can just apply it to the backer and you're good to go. So the 3 small and the medium-sized spinner blade kind of have a foil attachment to it. I'm going to show you the medium one because that's going to be easiest to see. So all 4 of the lures has that small step on it, and what that step is going to do is that's going to give it a propeller motion through the water. It's going to create more disturbance and attract more fish. So we can see over here there's also 4 needles on the kit. There is 2 straights and 2 curved, which are actually intended to be sutures. Now, you do not want to be in the woods with me if I have to suture something up. It's not going to be probably the prettiest thing. But I have used curved needles in the past, specifically for sewing hide, and it is kind of a handy needle to have. Here's the straight needle. It's got a great tip on it. Needles are not something you often think about carrying in the woods. This was actually one of the more common traded items on the frontier, was just the steel needle. You can improvise these. I've made bone needles before, but with modern gear, modern fabric, a bone needle is way too large. This is going to be a lot more suitable to patching up your gear. So I showed you the top, how it's a hook sharpener. I'm just going to peel this off. I'm going to rock it a little bit and break those tabs. So here's the saw, and you can just see from the tooth design that this is a one direction saw. So this is going to be used for push cuts primarily. And to use this, I would probably choke up on it about like this and just push through. So overall, it's a great design from Bob Hansler. When I look at this card, I am seeing a lot of food gathering items on here. I've got 11 fishing hooks. I've got 3 spinners. I got a medium spinner. I've got my knife and my saw, which is going to help me make primitive traps. That upswept blade design that he's got on there is going to be great for skinning. The line wrap around the handle is going to give me fishing line so that I can actually catch some fish. I can also do self-aid with the needles, possibly getting a splinter out. I can also repair my gear using that same fishing line. And the sutures will come in handy as well. So if you spend a lot of time outdoors and want to be prepared and don't want to weigh yourself down, take a look at the Bob Hansler signature card.